Here we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Forest Forge, Wildcrafting with Avenue Studios. I'm a little hot in the mic. I'm going to turn myself down. As always, let me know how sound is for everybody, and we'll see how it goes. So chat, feel free to shout out if something's not right. But as I said, welcome to the Forest Forge. And today, of course, we have Adam from the Interplanar Crossroads joining us as we are into the March of the Mechs collaboration. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. The music's loud in my ears. There we go. So, quick announcements before we dive into some forging. We hit officially our second goal for the Kanaga movie night and have unlocked a huge bundle giveaway. I'm really excited. Thank you to 𝙏𝙖𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙦 for joining as a supporter, and also thank you to Julian, one of our supporters, for upgrading his support. He has now gone up a tier, as well as the Great Mustache through 7 Sphere has also added further support to us. So I wanted to thank all of you guys for unlocking this giveaway and helping us make this possible. Kristen and I did. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it in stream, but these are special metal dice that'll be part of the giveaway. They have a forest theme, kind of like leaves and plants. They look pretty good to me. So
I like them.
This is one of the things we unlocked. Next stream, I will have the dice pads, the giant dice pads that we also got that are Avenue Studios themed. So there'll be those. There'll be some minis. There'll be some smaller plastic dice that we'll give away. So there will be several giveaways, including the one big one that we just unlocked. So thank you to all of our supporters for making that happen. April 1st, no joke, we will be doing that. So become a part of the ever-growing forest and join us for that movie night. As well as, if you're a sapling tier or higher, you'll get to play in this game we're about to forge at the end of the month. If you hop in there, we still have the raffle open to enter for that. And yeah, of course, next week will be Knights of New Seattle, and after that will be the live stream of this game we're building now. But while I adjust some things in my headphones, Adam, what's up for you and the Interplanar Crossroads?
Well, at the moment, mainly what you've been talking about. It is March of the Mechs. Greetings and salutations, travelers.
There it is.
I am 𝙁𝙁𝙗𝙗 with the Interplanar Crossroads. There you go, Austin. You can get all the fuzzies.
Yes.
We are, as far as additional things we're doing right now, not only is it March of the Mechs, but March and April are also the homeschooling co-op month, the DFS month. So that means Adventure Academia stuff and content is also coming out. So that's me building it's system agnostic, kind of. We're using Open Legend, which is what we're using tonight. So just shows the wide range of themes that Open Legend can handle. But we're doing Open Legend in that, and I'm using it to teach the kids math and arithmetics and problem solving. And right now they're going through a dungeon, so they're having to deal with constant assaults in the dungeon from kobolds. So there you go. But that's mainly what we have going on. Our milestone at the moment is $100 of support, whether through Patreon, Subscribestar, Locals, or direct contact. So if you want to be a part of that and get access to our Discord, then you can do so. We've picked up a little bit, so we're a little bit closer, and Lord willing, we'll just keep getting closer. That's how it'll be.
Awesome.
That's great. Yes. All right. Well then, without further ado, Jacob, let's
forge it. All right. First of all, thank you to your lovely bride for the delivery.
Yes.
And, skål.
Skål.
All right. So let's start with what we're doing here. First of all, if you haven't had a chance, head over to the Inn of Planar Crossroads YouTube channel. Check out what we've talked about already. It's been a lot of fun. Sorry, I have a dog distracting me. But we are talking about March of the Mechs, and we were looking to cover some things. First of all, the first thing I want to do is like a quick generic story. the city is being taken over, and jump in at any time, you two, okay?
Okay.
This is what I brainstormed a little bit with Dan and mostly with myself.
It's good brainstorming with yourself. That's healthy, I'm sure.
Yes. But an advanced alien AI has began to take over. They chose this city for whatever reason. We can flesh it out later. And they've started taking over. And being that this is a borderline cyberpunk city, the AI started just eating into all of the technology, and anything that has any kind of computer, it starts getting into and starts taking over and taking control of. So all the modern mechs, all of the police mechs, all of the military mechs, they're all up to date, up to snuff, high advanced technology, and so they all got and are being used / taken over / destroyed, dismantled, disabled by this alien AI. So this group of PCs is going to have to come in with steampunk, old style, diesel, gasoline powered mechs, however we want to flavor that have very little to no AI built into them. So they're not necessarily taken over, but they're off the grid essentially. They may have a localized computer to run things, but not on the grid, not on the network essentially.
Right.
So that's the story, and so we're here to like flesh out details, add more stuff to that. Lucky enough we're recording this, so everything I just said I can write down later too. That was all in my head. That was scary.
Well done.
I need to write some more stuff down. But so that's it. We're here to build this module together. We all have some ideas. We all have some things we want to reference from the wonderful chats that we've had with Adam and company. And so here we are. And Adam, before we even started, was looking at the map with me, and he was starting to pick out and come up with some kind of cool ideas.
Oh, sweet.
He instantly picked out 3 buildings on the map that could be named. You know what I mean? With a little descriptor.
Ooh, nice.
And the first one he pointed out was obviously the baseball diamond. It's kind of front and center, kind of big. So, I mean, if you have any... Well, let's talk about how journals work in Foundry first, because they're awesome.
Yes.
So for the both of you, you're assistant GMs. So at the top right-hand side, you can click on the button that says journals. And you should be able to access everything in there. And there's a folder that says AVS, Avenue Studios, March of the Mechs. When you open that, there should be a thing that says notes, edit later. Oh, let me know when you catch up. Sorry. Not that one. Top right side, Dan.
You're watching 10 seconds behind.
Oh. Thank you
as soon as yes, you're good. Got it.
So when you open that up, the two of you can add. Go ahead and open that. I don't know if you are. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Awesome. Now in there, the screen that pops up from when you open up that, the one that says notes, edit later.
Yep.
Awesome. Do you have it open, Adam?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Tag.
So you guys should be able to, at the bottom, you can add a page, which would be like the university essentially. And then you can edit it. And then when you create the page, let me know. I can just show you on the notes there. Oh, perfect. University.
Sweet. I was going to say, if Adam does it, I can see it pop up on my end. That's awesome.
Me too. So under university, there's a little edit symbol. So like if you put your mouse over by university, you'll see like a pencil and a paper kind of symbol on the right-hand side. You can click that and another screen will pop up. And then that's where you can start editing and formatting the text and stuff. Add pictures, which is really cool. So like I see a sports center. Adam's going to town already.
Yes.
This is how I do it with the Adventure Academia. Keep track of my notes.
Yeah, I love it. I appreciate it. This is huge, and this is what you guys are helping me so much help put this all together, because there's a lot of things. So we can name these universities. We can give them a little descriptor. You know, heck, we can give them a sports team and a logo if we wanted to. But so that's the notes. That's what I want to be working out. So does anybody have any thoughts or ideas right off the bat?
So where is this supposed to take place in the world?
I mean, that has. I mean, I was kind of doing a world agnostic city, so I never picked a city. I never picked a place in the world. It was more of just a one shot. So I didn't want to put like that much into it, but we could. I mean, we're here,
Gotcha.
we're now, so
Yeah.
So-
all of that can be made up.
Well, I think my question be. Oh, go ahead, Adam.
Well, I was just asking because it influences usually what mascots you go for and what naming conventions you use.
It's true.
The one thing I think of first is where the AI is centrally located, or are we thinking more that they're not actually going to get to the main AI, but just deal with minions?
I've actually already told that to Adam here. I was thinking about when we create the AI, when we create the NPC, I want to create it, because you and I talked about creating it rather large, and but not placing it on the map. We will let the GM, whoever runs the module, place it on the map, so it will overlay whatever section or spot on the map you want it.
Very cool.
Does that make sense? So for me,
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do, because some of you are going to be playing in it. So zip it. So then they can plan. So what we want to do with this module, at least this is my goal. I guess I should talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
We're going to give the GM or LM, I call him Legend Master for Open Legend RPG. We're going to give the Legend Master the choice to do whatever they want with this. So we're going to give him the baddie that he's going to be able to drop on the map, which I'll have an explanation when I finalize the module, the big baddie. And then he's going to drop that on the map. But there's also going to be a separate map to change onto that's inside the big baddie. So if the player characters get out of their mech and go in it, like we've talked about, Dan,
Yep.
that would be a possibility. We'll see if we get to that.
Very cool.
In the sense of, but that'll be a little side mini map, like a starship insides kind of thing. I haven't fully fleshed that one out yet. But so for this map, we're going to drop them right on here. So we'll just say for now, maybe they dropped them on the hospital, and the AI creature is like the ship, the main ship that landed, starts with the hospital. They sensed, they read it, was all the where all the technology was. They know they could get fed right there, right into the mainstream systems. So they pick the hospital, they drop in there. So then I would probably have the players approach from the opposite direction, battling their way through the city.
Yeah.
Like that is, or however, they want to. Maybe they do some reconnaissance and they succeed at it. But that's all the stuff that I'm going to write in a GM notebook that they're going to read. It's going to be a 10-minute read for them prior to running the game. So then they're going to be able to just drop stuff where they want it, have it pre-planned where they work their way through, and boom.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Right. No, that's great. I like the idea of the hospital too, because they would probably assume it's on generators and stuff, even if they try to cut power to kill the AI, if they get access to like the backup generators. And that's a great spot. And it does give a diagonal if you want all the way across the map there.
Right.
Yep.
Now, as a reminder for the ones who have not watched the streams that we did with Adam, we are not doing a typical fantasy size. Like
that'd be good, boy.
These squares are 25 feet. So if you guys can all switch to your measuring tool, which measures distance, which is under token controls on the top left.
Oh, I've got the. How do you delete that? Just backspace? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So you can measure out. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the right angle. So go up to token controls on the top left. It's a little dude.
Aha. I'm still
there we
learning.
go.
Cool,
You're good.
cool.
No, that's why we're doing this too, for some of the people who don't know how to use Foundry. So
I'm happy to be the stupid guinea pig.
So that's. Go ahead.
That means that we're going to be assuming the mechs just operate at a similar scale for abilities. Like if it's 25 feet for a normal person in Open Legend, it would be, exponentially that for the mech. Or directly that for the mech.
Correct.
A power of whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Same
so
number of squares.
Yeah. So essentially, it's a number of squares. So with Open Legend, I believe your base speed is 30 foot.
Yeah.
And so that would be 6 squares normally. Yes.
Right.
Right. So you're looking at. There you go.
125 feet. Or
1, 2, 3, 4,
125.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go.
So, which I don't think is ridiculous with a mech.
No.
It is
It's not
150
ridiculous
though.
for your players.
It is 150
6 times
for 6
25.
squares.
6
1,
times 25.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Interesting. Yeah, it would be 6 moves. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. 1,
Right.
2,
Oh, right.
6. I was measuring 6 squares. My bad.
That's all right.
So it's an interesting thought. But still, I mean,
So-
same idea.
Well, and
Yeah,
what
just
I
to know
love
when you're using your measuring tool.
Yes, right. And what I love about that, we talked about this more extensively in the Round the Hearth, is that if the human characters do get out of their mechs, they can only basically move 1 square, which really gives that mech feel of like the mechs are big. And when you're outside your mech, you're vulnerable. You can't do much. I'm really interested to see how it plays out that way. If someone gets in that situation or chooses to. It'd be pretty cool.
Right.
It's also good because that reinforces the idea that these mechs basically they hit an area for someone that small instead of hitting them directly.
Right.
That's
very
very
good
true.
point. A single strike
So
for a mech is an area attack for a human of 25 feet.
Right.
Which adds up. I mean, that makes sense to me.
I love that. No, that's because that's what we had talked about around the hearth. Definitely check those videos out about how do we make it feel like you're in a mech? How do you make those mechs feel powerful and big?
So, what do we have for names for the city? We can name the city. That's fine.
All right.
Let's see. We'll just give a theme to Adam. You know he loves his alliterations.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I was asking about like, so are we fantasy setting, or are we just making this a more generic human setting?
I was making it a more generic human setting. That was my thought. That was what I was picturing. But
so that'll affect our naming for like the sports center's mascot and stuff like that. Probably.
Yep.
You could go with something simple like Star City. That's very anime, if people want to go for anime. But I think that it would probably be better to do something... we have cities here that are named after different things. Acadia City. That might be fun.
it was interesting. That was actually one of the ones that came up on as a suggestion. I was just flipping through some...
Oh, that's funny. I like that one. I feel like that could be dropped in anyone's homebrew setting.
Yeah.
It's pretty classic.
All right.
It sounds like a Game City name to me.
So you can do AKA or ACA. Probably do ACA. Acadia.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And now...
Would the city have a
I'll pull
nickname
the
like
notes up.
people call it Acadia?
And you're writing this in Foundry, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I'm following along here.
I'll have the notes ready to go if Adam...
Don't know how dystopian you were going with it, but I just spitballing Acadia, the cyber utopia.
That's
love
cool.
Something like that.
Very classic.
Otherwise, why would the aliens want it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Dan, while he's writing some of that up, if you look at the top left of the map, you'll see that I dropped a map pin of the city.
Do I need to click a specific thing to see pins? Do I need to be in journal notes? Or...
Bottom left, journal notes, yeah.
Okay.
And it should...
yeah, I see it right there.
Cool. Awesome.
I'll zoom in on it. I love these things. So cool.
I can make them a little bigger. We should get Adam to draw us some more.
That is the thing.
That Adam guy.
That Adam guy.
I heard he's kind of dorky, though.
You can do custom ones.
That's all right. He's in good company.
So what I like to do, because that's like the overall city. So I like to drop. You'll see on a lot of my modules that I drop map pins for the GM up out of the way. So no players are going to run into them, no issue on your map.
Right.
But they're grabbable right there. So if you're going to town and I don't remember that information, instead of going to the journal, dropping it down, trying to find where it is, boom, it's on the map. Oh, what about that city that I want to see? Okay, there it is.
Right. Awesome.
So, with that said, we'll go back to talking about the city. What is a prominent feature of this city? What is something that people instantly know or see or pick up on? Could be a dirty, scummy, could be clean, and just random thought, just out of curiosity. What do you guys got?
Right. Now, my inclination is actually super clean. Although we could go with the irony of it being called Utopia and it's like a cyberpunk, crap hole. But for some reason, I like the idea that it's a super clean, nice city and the AIs just come in and just decimated it with all the mechs going wild.
Yeah,
so that's my inclination.
Either one.
I don't know if it's maybe the way you did the map too. I'm feeling like suburbia a little bit, like everything's clean and ordered.
It's also something I wanted to point out as we're adding details. I still can add a lot of street lamps and little details of the map. If there's a spot you want to see more color, maybe I'm putting a little park somewhere, let me know. I can do that, because I'm thinking that this down below the parking lot area, if I could ping, it's not there. It is.
Oh yeah,
maybe a park down in there. A rather large park with maybe a little pond in there or something. I'm actually going to write it down because I'm going to be updating this map later on, not necessarily on the stream. So
yeah. Well, it makes fun. You got to check the actual game to see what he makes updates for.
That's true. Named after Horatio Farnsworth, prominent inventor in the cyber revolution after the net crash of, he just put 20XX. Want to roll a dice? We can roll a dice for the years. Let me get some dice.
Yeah, we can change 20XX to whatever comes up on the dice.
Roll D100, it explodes.
Oh boy.
It's open legend, right? It's gotta explode.
How about I roll 2D? How about I roll 2D100s?
That's fine.
My kids love rolling them, but they never set right. Got my massive dice bag here, and apparently I can't find another D10. There it is. I guess I could have rolled it in Foundry.
Yeah, we're talking about a prominent net crash of 20XX. You know that ChatGPT, they gave it access to its own code.
I got one explodey. All right. So
wait, you're Babylon being me. Did that really happen, or you're saying
really happened?
Okay,
I missed it.
I had
they
to
were
clarify.
stupid enough to give ChatGPT access to its own source code and the ability to write code. So
we'll be
fighting in the cyber revolution of 20XX.
We're just creating one of the military simulation training programs right now for when we have to fight ChatGPT later. Okay, anyways, what do we get?
So
did you roll?
We made it to 135. No, I rolled it by hand. Sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, that's preferable if you can.
So we're at 2,135 after the net crash, of course.
I have something fun. Roll a D6 that explodes.
Okay.
Just to make it more futuristic.
Rolling a D6 that explodes. 5.
Okay, times 5. 130. 25. What'd you get? 130, 125?
I got 135. You want me to multiply
135, 525, 15, 17. So 775? 675. I can't do math. 675.
Yeah, you can.
I like that.
So it's 2675. I like that too. Whoop.
That puts it in the range of like Halo.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because I think that's like 25. Ryan, comment below. Or if anyone out there's a Halo nerd. I think it's the 2500s.
This is how we get ants. The solid comment.
That's a solid comment. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you want the Borg? Because this is how we get the Borg.
Awesome.
That's
So
great.
also our viewers who I see we have 8 people watching. If you have ideas or thoughts that you want to throw on this map, let us know. And we
Yes.
will do our best to add them / whatever it is. So we have Farnsworth University. I love it.
Mhm.
We have the city. We have the sports center. So what is the sports center? Let's see.
Do we want to go with like something spacey like the comets? Or do we want to
Ooh.
do something terrestrial? It's space. So I don't know what you got.
Mhm,
There's the
mhm.
comets, the rockets, let's see.
Statues of important people, maybe. I have a comment from your
So-
wife. Statues of important people, maybe. I'm gonna write that down.
Oh, that's good. I'm laughing because as I'm figuring out, I was like, oh, the asteroids, or we could just call it the roids. And there's this vague. Is it steroids? Is it asteroids?
Oh, so it's
It's an asteroid with a pumping arm.
Yes.
to make it even more, Well,
love that.
I mean, so that we call it Asteroid Space Sports Center, and then we say down here, roids?
That's beautiful. Wait, I gotta pull up the journal notes again.
We gotta do I wonder if Alex is watching. She's got to make us a symbol of a guy pumping an arm with an asteroid flying, like
Yes.
a strong armed.
A strong arm asteroid. The cheesier it looks, the better, because
Yep.
Right.
that's just how they roll in the future.
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely.
Oh, it'd be so funny if trends just came all the way back around to where they think that what we think is cheesy is actually really cool.
Yes.
I mean, it's whatever year it is. Well, we're not specifying the year of where we are. We're only specifying the year of the net crash, which was
crash, right.
2675.
Which I like that.
Yeah.
So that allows the GM to pick a year afterwards that works for him. Hi puppy. So that's cool.
I'll
And
just
those
shout.
statues can actually be really large if you want to, because in a cyberpunk type setting, they would have ultralight materials. They would have the ability to mess around with that type of stuff. You
Mhm.
could even make it where it's got enough circuitry and AI in it, where maybe it goes full Ghostbusters and comes to life.
Ooh.
That's actually a really good idea. Oh, that's a really good idea because it could be traps too or something possibly.
Right. That was something else that I thought we could discuss. Maybe off stream about traps, just so that when our viewers watch this live stream, they're like, wait a minute.
Surprise, surprise.
Laser
like,
eyes! Laser
spring-
eyes! How did that get laser eyes?
I love it.
Spring Hill Medical Center is. I love that. Well
I just
done.
thought it's on the edge, and what I might do is for editing the map, I might push that hospital back a little bit and put a little like cliff edge on the one side, so it's like it's
Oh,
on
cool.
a hill. So on the
Yeah,
back
yeah.
side, maybe put a cliff side that goes down, so it's like just to add more details to the map.
Yeah, that's great.
So as far as story goes, we can flesh out more details too as we're talking about the story. But our wonderful Adam in our patron Discord has drawn a really cool picture of a bug like mech, and I just pictured like
That guy's awesome.
I know he is really cool. I think like part nah, he says.
I think he's kind of idiot, but you guys think what you want.
I
He's
like
your
him.
friend.
Yeah.
But that was probably some of the original creatures that came out. They're little bugs that crawl, and they have different sizes of them. Because I really like that idea. There's some that are so tiny that they crawl into somebody's computer system, and then there's some that are so big that they're taking
Right.
over buses and stuff.
I like
that's
that.
part of the. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I like that one because it's like classic. Think Stargate, stuff like that. The bug for computer is classic, but also because we're thinking it's suburbia and really clean, having bugs coming in and infesting is a really nice theme on top of there too.
Right.
Yeah.
Of
So I
just-
think when Go ahead.
You're good. I was just gonna say destruction.
You can also do it where, because you have, if you're doing it that way and you're using the bugs, the bug bots as the avenue, as the vehicle for this AI, maybe the things that created it were insectoid in the first place, and so it just mimicked their body type.
Avenue.
Yeah.
LOL.
You could also do it where, since maybe they took on the shape of their previous creators, as they consume other things, you can make variations on that bug mech. So you can say that the smaller one consumes something and it becomes a variant of, like if it consumes on a drone, it takes over a drone. The drone itself is nanobot remade to look more like those, and so it, like the swirling green on the verdant scarab,
Yes.
is starts to attach onto the rest of that drone in that example. I remember seeing an anime where, I think it was Fulikuli, FLCL, where there's this little dog bot in one of the episodes, and it eats tech and it gets bigger and bigger. But each time it eats something, it gains a different little thing. So you could do that in a more controlled way with these. That way, if one takes over the bus, it actually assimilates the bus Borg-like, but because it's a machine, it just assimilates it into itself. So now this bus has, instead of wheels, it's got legs. And instead of 6 legs like the scarab, it's got leg.
Like a centipede.
Yeah. Bouncing off of that, what I love about that too is like, and we probably should have mentioned at the beginning, is that we're planning to make this is for like a 1.5, 2 hour one shot. And doing something like that will make it really nice to quickly, for the players to quickly pick up on. That's an easy clue to quickly pick up on. And like, if I notice bug aspects to anything that shouldn't be there, it might mean that the AI is taking it over. And then on top of that, our hope, we will have these available, theoretically, the final one shot after we play tested and everything. This will be available for you to get on the Forge. And if you wanted to take it more, then that could become a theme throughout a campaign. If it ended up either this is just a throw-in one shot or a theme, that bug theme. I really like that idea.
And also, how about almost an Egyptian motif
I was just going to
to
go.
the alien bugs?
Ooh,
Should
we're going real Stargate.
Should the mothership just be a massive beetle, like dung beetle almost?
Sure.
Oh, so
I
it
love
goes
that.
full, what is it, Katamari, and it tries to roll up that video game where you roll up little small things until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's Katamari. So it just, the mothership literally lands on the planet, rolls up all the tech, and just rolls all over the world until it gets all the tech it wants, and just assimilates the whole thing.
That's awesome.
And then it starts gray gooing, starts biomassing this whole thing and cannibalizes entire worlds until it's now a full-on hive Dyson sphere.
That's so cool. The other thing I like about that too is
a math campaign.
yeah, or even simply, if you wanted to, I don't know if you want to throw this in the journal notes later for the GM, even simply if the human character wants to like hack in to the AI or something, that's a potential image that it could see. Like in the net version of it, it's doing that with the data. It's compiling it and literally sees it. The data is visualized as a dung beetle, just exactly how Adam described. That could be a really cool image when someone dives into the net. If they do.
Yeah.
They could dive into the net expecting something really, really alien and weird, but they just find digital like code running up and down, but it's hieroglyphs instead of ones and zeros.
Oh, that's good too.
So they have, instead of ones and zeros, they have almost like quantum computing where it's
right,
the symbol is what you need it to be.
Yeah, the symbol's some kind of compression that allows way more data in one symbol. Then that's really cool. I love that idea.
We just want a full nerd. I'm just kidding.
I know we did.
I love it though. No, but I love it because I also love the idea of like you see the ones and zeros, like somebody's like watching it be hacked, like some cybersecurity is like, what is going on, and they're watching it be hacked. You can almost describe a scene where you're watching the ones and zeros transform into the hieroglyphics.
Right.
Then they begin to funnel into a ball where the beetle's rolling the ball of hieroglyphics.
Oh,
and it's a ball of
Okay.
data in the virtual net.
Yeah.
That it's rolling around, gathering up all the data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
That's cool.
Well,
Notes,
so I'll have to write it.
journal notes.
Yeah, I know. Everybody write quick as much as you can. Wow, that's fantastic. So I think we don't have anything for the city, essentially, of the Utopia for details. Besides the fact that I think we all agreed that it was clean at one point in time.
I like that. Yeah.
Weren't all university cities clean at one time?
Yes.
That's what they tell us,
Oh, yeah.
anyways.
That's what we hear, right?
Well, you could have like this whole, with the way it's set up, it actually works really well because you could have all the way from here, maybe this is the administrative building,
Mm.
and then all the way
yeah.
over to this road right here is the campus.
And I could put a couple more buildings in there. And
That's
some
really
green
cool.
space.
Building
Going with a
here,
college town
maybe-
sort of feel.
Yeah. That way, if you want to take a lighter note on it, you could do like a whole full-on Japanese school kids
Oh,
drama, get into
classic.
Mechs type of thing.
Absolutely.
So you could do that. Zacariah could do like a whole, what is it? School days type of thing where it's, oh, we've got to get to class, and then all of a sudden, and then, oh no, we've got to use our watches to get our Mega Mechs. Go
That
Power
works.
Rangers on it. College Power
Right.
Rangers.
That works really well too,
But-
because
but
go ahead.
If you do that, Zacariah, make sure that they do the poses when they, it's morphin time thing.
Yes, hand gestures with everything. What I like about that too is the idea could be, because it's supposed to be like diesel punk or something that's coming in, it's the only thing that stop it, and it's just a fad in College Town right now to battle your diesel mechs because they're outdated, so it's like this retro cool thing to do. So they're
Ooh.
actually
yeah,
the only
like
ones.
greasers.
Up in the top left.
Yes.
I might have to put a junkyard somewhere,
Oh, that's a good idea.
like in the top left,
Sure.
where the college students go and collect stuff, and like
And
maybe
they,
even
like,
a
battle it
little
out.
arena in there.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
maybe a
maybe
little
that
faux pas, but the cool kids do it.
Yeah. And it's just close enough to the college where no one bothers with it.
Right.
But like maybe the north side of town up there, the northeast side of town is
That's
the
what I was
part
thinking too.
you don't want to go
Mhm.
to. And then let me see here, maybe this is the housing and stuff like that for apartments and things
Mm,
and shopping center.
right.
Where are you? Ping for me. Sorry. Gotta hold down the button. Oh, there. Oh, yes. Okay.
So
Yeah.
that could be like apartments and stuff, and it's far enough away from the residential areas of the college town that they're like, oh, just let them get their steam blown out
Right.
and stuff.
That's really great.
Better to blow off your steam jacking up someone's diesel mech than it is to jack up someone's face. That's how they look at it.
That's true. I love it. No, that works out really well. So far, I'm really enjoying this. I mean, besides adding more details to the notes, should we hop over to building a NPC? Maybe one
Yeah.
of the, maybe a car bug. I'm trying to think, maybe what would they turn a car? I keep going to beetles because it's like the easiest. And I know the
Well,
back
that
end-
one that I made, the one that I made is actually a large one, but you can always size them up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's big enough to have an apartment in it. So
I love it.
Mm,
but
I mean,
like I said, you can size them up and down.
right. I was thinking I like the idea of dragonflies for the flying ones.
Yes, it was
That'd be
interesting.
cool.
I was thinking like it would be really cool to have dragonflies. Yeah, it was actually on my mind. So maybe let's let's build a dragonfly.
So that's like a drone mech then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they took over the police drones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Police drones. All right, so now let's see. How do I change the sheet to a NPC? That was a mistake I just made. So let me delete that real quick. So actually, I'll walk you through this so that our viewers can see. Anybody who's watching and has stayed on this long wants to know how to do these things. If you go to the top right,
Yes.
click on actors, which is that little dude with like just shoulders.
Yep.
Under March the Mechs, if you hit the little dude with the plus sign,
Got it.
and then you should be able to just type in, police drone dragonfly or something. Whatever, we can rename them later.
Okay. I'll call it Dragonfly just for now, because we'll know what it is. And then NPC,
Yes, NPC.
keep it in the March of the Mechs folder, create new actor.
Boom. So, there's a basic scarab already popping up. Look you go. That's exactly why. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. So, I got Dragonfly open. I'm going to write in right now. Police drone taken over by the alien, if I can spell correctly, AI. So if we do a quick statting out, I should grab my Open Legend book. I don't know if is yours
So
nearby.
since we're building a character, we need to decide what level we're aiming this at.
Yeah, I'll grab mine. Keep talking.
So the basic scarab, are you making that an NPC or a player character?
I just figured it'd be something that the GM could use as a this is what it looks like before, and then when they see the different variations, you can have the basic one, and then they see all these different variations to be able to figure it out. So if
Play
someone
around with
wanted to
stuff.
take this and expand it across a couple sessions, they may fight a basic one to start off,
True.
and then after that they start to see the design from the basic one that they saw seen in the others. So
Mm.
that would be the only difference.
Okay.
It could be weaker or whatever.
Yeah. So real quick, shout out to the Foundry app. Hopefully get some more updates soon, but it does actually have a lot of the rules within underneath the compendium. So I just opened up they have a GM screen. They have the simple NPCs already on there, so you can play around with that. They have ad hoc damage, and then they have some basic rules, legend points, dealing, damaging, basic combat. So some of it is here to play around with.
That's awesome.
But also I love having the book too.
Yeah, I was going to shout out too. Open Legend RPG, you can use the code Bomb Squad to get 10% off of their anything in the store.
Dude, I forgot that. How can I
Yeah,
forget that?
right. On the Open Legend
Also,
RPG store.
Also, he's going to be doing the second printing, which
Yes.
means they're going to have the updated feats and boons and banes lists. So there you go.
Yes,
Most
thank you.
important.
That's a reminder. JP is working hard at that, like concealment. Oh, yeah, it'll be great. Also, the
Get it
art
done.
is amazing in the Open Legend book. Oh,
I do
you
like
can
the art,
kinda,
yeah.
like, look at that.
Mhm.
Love it.
That's
Of
one of
course-
the better ones, like the sniper one there.
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
love that one's one of my favorites. And of course, openlegendrpg.com, the whole core rulebook's on there for free too. So
Yeah, so you don't even have to spend a dime to play.
start playing, yeah.
So with that
Anyways.
said, no, I love it. So what do you think of the defenses for a little dragonfly? I definitely think feats-wise, we're going to give it flying. Because
Mhm. My inclination would be guard would be higher, toughness would be low, and resolve probably low. It's just a basic minion
right.
with like
So they
one
guard
protocol.
15?
Yeah, sure. If we're assuming a level 1, or what were we? I don't remember what we were assuming.
I was choosing level 1. I
one,
like
yeah.
level 1. That way it's kind of a basic thing for people to play around with and test, and
Right.
they can beef up whatever they want.
Right. Yeah. So 15's nice.
And then toughness 12, resolve 10. Resolve would be
I might flip that.
right.
my
I was actually just thinking that.
Yeah. Just very like
Or-
if someone
Now-
can hit it with a
This
Go
is a
ahead.
tech thing, so are we going to do immunity to anything?
Oh, that's interesting. That would be fun.
Because mind affecting things, how sufficiently advanced do we want to go with this mind? This I assume it's like a hive mind type thing.
I was picturing more of a hive mind, yeah.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So, if it actually is a mind, then you could leave mind affecting things on there, like from influence,
Yeah.
and just
Interesting.
reflavor it, kind of.
Right.
That might be better. Might be better to leave it where it has, doesn't have the immunity to that type of stuff, because then you can reflavor influence as doing like EMP
Hacking
scrambling
or
damage,
EMP,
yeah,
stuff like
hacking.
that, yeah.
For sure.
I think,
Right.
yeah, maybe, you know what, and let me go to the notes real quick, the journal, and I'll just make a quick note that, you know, resolve is closer to hacking or EMP. Just a quick note, we can flesh it out better later.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Circus
fun
music.
I know. Well,
Hey, shout out in 2 or 3 Thursdays, the circus game with Great Mustache and a couple Bomb Squad players will be out.
look at that. Perfect
They
shot.
actually don't spend any time in the
Beans.
circus, but they're all from the circus. So,
It works.
There you go.
anyway,
We
Alright,
still need to
so-
decide if I get to come up in October. We haven't decided what we're gonna do for y'all's channel, so we gotta figure that out at some point.
I'm sure we'll come up with plenty of things to mess around with.
Yes.
All
Oh,
right,
flying.
so
Good call. Yep.
Yeah, flying for one of the feats just makes sense to me.
Yep.
As far as attributes, what do you? I was thinking we'll pick 2, 2, 4, and 1, 3. Only because I think that it would be something like influence. I guess would be 1, right? Would be a 4 because it's taking over the mechs or taking over things. Took over but it took over the drones already, so we have to consider the police drone itself.
As itself. I'll throw out agility and entropy as its main things. As
So-
I'm picturing like the drones flying in and attaching on and, you know, like persistent damage or sickened, but reflavored as actually attacking the
A viral attack, okay.
a viral attack into, but it has to, because of the diesel mechs, it has to physically attach itself to get access because the diesel mechs are not on the network.
Yeah,
So it's actually got to like plug in. Kind of feels like a
it
dragonfly.
almost like its tail just like attaches and then
Oh, well, yeah.
yeah, and then it's like starts trying to suck data out and push
Hooks
data
in.
in. It's
Yep.
like, yeah, it's both. Like it's so trying to gain information on it too. So you could almost do prescience at like a
Interesting.
3 in a way. Hear me
Sure.
out.
Throw that
Because you're
on
trying
top.
to gain information in a way.
Right.
Also, prescience makes sense for it is what we used when I did one of my Fallout Fort Smith games for VATs and calculations for probabilities of hitting here and here and here. So that's a way you can do that too.
Yeah,
can
the
be
AI makes
flavored
sense
that way.
for that. Yeah. What do you think, Dan?
No, I love it. I was thinking that we could make, because the beauty of Open Legend is the self-limiting, maybe with, it can only do that once it's physically attached. So maybe it has to inflict immobile, maybe not immobile. It has to inflict with entropy successfully, and then it can do a prescience thing to tap into it.
I love it. I'm trying to figure out exactly where to write that on here. On the character sheet, that is.
Right. Does it have like just a general notes section?
I don't see one.
Actions. There's a notes section for actions.
I'm also trying to figure out how to add an action. There is a way, I promise.
Okay, nice. I
Alright,
saw you
so close
added
that.
the attributes.
Yes, that's done. All right, so let's see. The feats are added.
Are
Let's go ahead and add
actions
something else.
drag and drop from like the Open Legend folder?
I'm gonna go
Did you
look
mean
right now.
entropy 4 or energy 4?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I put energy?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, somebody got it.
Oh, I grabbed it. Sorry, or somebody did.
Oh, I meant
So
the
yes, I
actions.
dropped it.
So
I
how'd you
did
add
find
an
that out.
action?
So what's cool is it's over under basic. So under compendium, it's the top right. There's like a journal. Then there's a thing that says basic, and then it's an attack. It says attack, and then you just drop that on there. I'm gonna have to let them know that their images are disconnected. So yeah, when you go to compendium,
Compendium's down
Which
at
is
the
compendium
bottom.
packs,
Compendium
it's like a-
packs.
yep, and then
Got it.
basic,
Basic.
and then you can drag and drop that attack right on there,
Cool.
and that's where you can flavor it. So, what do you want to call the entropy attack?
Let's see. What would...
Stinger hack.
Sure. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could go full pun and call it sting operation, but I don't know if you want a triple pun to try and confuse the waters. So,
Triple pun. I like that. Okay. I'll pull up prescience. Pull up. I'm so used to doing it online, not with the book.
Yeah.
The book's the best.
So the stinger hack is not a boon. That's just like the attack. So they have to do
That's
it.
the
So I'm gonna
attack.
put in there. It has to be melee range.
Yep.
If I can spell melee wrong or correct.
Melee.
Melee. Melee
Melee.
range. And then is the prescience a boon? Are we working off a boon for that? Or a bane for
It's
the
probably a bane.
Prescience does mind dredge, right?
It does do mind
That
dredge
fits perfect.
for sure.
All right, well, look at that. I dropped mind dredge, and we can reflavor it, which is cool too.
Oh, nice. So that was from the compendium.
Correct. So I opened up Banes and dropped the Bane on that quick action,
Mhm.
and then you can reflavor it.
Beautiful.
This also means it would have... I'm not sure that this unit specifically would do memory alteration, but if this whole prescience idea carries through, then some other infiltrator bugs might do memory alteration and things like that.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. A shout out to Hero Muster too. If you're on there, you can filter,
Yes.
which is awesome.
So I think I'm going to change the actual entropy to being Stinger, unless you have a different name, and then I was going to change the hack to being Stinger Hack.
Yeah.
Nice. Sure.
I don't know if that makes sense. So Dan, if the arrows, there's a double arrows at the bottom right. If you click and drag that out, it'll open up the character sheet a little bit more,
Got it.
and then you'll be able to read stuff a little bit better, I think.
Yep. Yeah, I can see it all now.
There we go. Cool.
Too many windows.
Yeah. So I think those are like the two main attacks. Is there something else you guys would want to add? Does it have...
I would think probably with agility, just some basic gun or something probably would be nice to throw in there.
Oh,
Okay.
You know what you could do? You could take a tip from Digimon
Mm?
and use
I'm in.
agility to beat its wings and make a sonic attack.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's cool.
So do you want to call it Sonic Wings? Sounds very Digimon or Pokemon.
It does sound Pokemon for sure.
Sonic wings. That works fine with me. Yeah, because
That'll do.
Digimon has like, oh, what is it like?
Pepper
Righteous.
breath. Yes.
Well, they have like transcendent sword. They got like three words for different things.
So I know this would be something I would do as a GM. Because you can't use Stinger Hack until you do a successful Stinger, I would probably give Stinger Hack an advantage.
I was thinking the same thing. Yep. Like attack specialization, entropy.
Yeah. Let me grab that feat.
So
Just because that makes sense to me.
Stinger Hack has advantage, or the Mind Dredge has advantage.
It would be the Stinger Hack, which is Mind Dredge. Yeah.
Oh, you're
So
saying
you would
mind
want-
I was thinking the attack had advantage.
Oh, well, which one? I mean, it doesn't matter. I would definitely
You
give it to
do-
one of them.
You do Bane. What is it?
Well, that's a fair point.
because you have to
Bane
get
focus,
to the
you're
mech,
thinking?
Something
sting
like
it, and then your second attack round.
I like
The,
yeah. No, you guys make a fair point. Once you land the successful attack, they then have Bane focus, like Adam was saying, on Mind Dredge.
yeah, that
And
makes more sense.
then my thought was, okay, what's because Mind Dredge just gives you access to memories. So what's the advantage there? Maybe once they Mind Dredge, now they can bolster because they understand how the diesel mechs work that they've Mind Dredged.
Well, the stinger hack is almost like they're taking it over, right? So this dragonfly bot spreads the disease type of thing, spreads the virus,
Right.
by this conversion virus by using the stinger hack.
So then if we're going that direction, I would throw influence instead and do either dominated or charmed. Probably dominated. Because Mind Dredge just gives you access to, just from a mechanical, I'm thinking just the mechanical aspect. Mind Dredge gives you access to memories. And the longer you do it, the more memories you get.
You could leave the dragonfly this way and then do an infiltrator one that has the presence instead. That has the
influence.
The influence instead.
That's
so this one might be using Mind Dredge for because these are drones.
Information out about the pilot, essentially, too.
Yeah.
Right.
And it has a sonic wave. Yeah, it has a sonic wings attack. So it has 2 attacks and then a support item.
That's interesting. And then it couldn't use the item except on someone who's been successfully Mind Dredged.
I mean, I like that. I almost want it to be where when we create the final boss AI, essentially, there is some kind of demoralize or some kind of bane that's inflicted with advantage if something has been Mind Dredged.
Oh, nice. Oh, interesting. So later on.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Because it's pulled the information out.
Right.
Sent it to the main mothership.
That's cool. Because story-wise,
you could actually do that instead of baning the mech that's coming at the mothership. You could make it where the mothership now has advantage 1 on attacks versus those things.
Right.
Because it has that information, so you could switch that around. That way the bane is harder. That way it's harder for the PCs to just outright ignore the bane.
Right.
Because they could do a nullify and get rid of a bane. But now they're having to do something to get disadvantage on the mothership to make that go away instead.
You know what? I like that. I might put it, let's see, we'll put that in the massive mothership, something to keep in track. So we'll put it in the main documents telling the GM, hey, try to keep track of what players get Mind Dredged. We
could do for the one shot, just as a memory thing, is put an effect on each person that's been affected with Mind Dredge. Because what I like is the idea that Mind Dredge happens and you're like, okay, am I damaged in any way? No, they just Mind Dredge you, and this effect is now on you. You've been marked. Right. And they don't know what that means until they get to the boss.
Yeah, you could leave it really vague even and say, well, occasionally these weird symbols come up on your screen. And that's it, remote access. Now that they can't, this would be harder to do on the diesel mechs.
Right.
Because they don't have Wi-Fi.
Right.
Right.
You know, that's what we're saying. They don't have connectivity, wireless connectivity. They have to be physically jacked into.
But that doesn't mean that the dragonfly itself did not draw a little bit of information giving advantage to the mothership.
Right.
Yeah, because now it understands how the diesel mech works, how it integrates with the pilot. It's pulled some of the basic computer coding for the diesel mech, and now has advantage.
And if this does become a thing that is more than one session for you and your players, then that means you can say, okay, now you're going in for repairs. What do you want to do? And if they find this, they can actually take care of any kind of problems that might be left over from the stinger hack, but if they change around their mechs or if they upgrade their mechs, that means that that changes the information that the mothership
That's true.
would have had access to, so that
Right.
that advantage could go away. And so you can kind of keep that in the background until your players actually come up against it. Like, why is this mothership so effective against me? Why is it rolling with advantage?
Well, that's where, too, Dan, not to bring this back to this, but I liked your idea. And I liked the idea of building a little internal man battle. Their mechs are going to be, if they're all mind dredged a bunch, there's a higher chance their mechs are going to get wrecked. And maybe they
Right.
figure that out while they're battling the mothership. So now a couple of them hop out and they begin to run in to try to shut her down from the inside as a puny humanoid.
Right.
So then you have that moment where it's like they got to make that decision. They got to get out of their mech because it's getting wrecked. They know what's happened. So they took out all the mini bots. They've come in. They've done some damage to the mothership, but she is just destroying them. So they hop out. They run in.
Yep.
And they begin to do it. And then we switch to that map. I'll just do a small, simple internal map. Maybe part of it's the hospital too. Like you got to go through a little bit of the hospital,
Mhm.
and then you go into her internals.
Potentially. Of course, we never want to fall too in love with any specific storyline because
I
who
know.
knows what the players will do. But you could have like a
For the players
Gundam.
and for the GM, yeah.
Right. You could have like a Gundam style where it's like, you know what? We can't beat this with our mechs, but our mechs are the only ones that can get us close enough. So they have to sacrifice their mechs to get close enough to get in. And then, so you could have that beautiful scene where the mech's dying as the pilot jumps out and is like saying goodbye as it goes in to face the AI's central core or something.
Julian Adams asked,
Hey,
can Mind
Julian.
Dredge be flavored? Hey, buddy. Can Mind Dredge be flavored as malware? And I think that's what we're... Go ahead.
Well, it can.
Iris,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Adam.
I just responded to him and I said,
Oh.
that might make a good persistent damage one instead. Like if we put it on a mech,
Right.
malware might be a good persistent damage one for a different mech than the Dragonfly. I mean,
Right.
That's true.
Because and this goes right with what I was going to say too, is it's not so much a problem of flavor as what mechanically is happening. So what makes sense? Because the problem with Mind Dredge is mechanically you just get to see memories. So how are
Right.
we going to create it? I think I like this path we're doing with that, creating a long-term problem because those memories have been
really like
gained.
I really like
period.
that idea of filling it for the mothership.
Right.
So she's just gaining that advantage on the mechs. I don't know why. I feel...
Yeah.
Good
Well,
about
and
that.
what I love the malware idea, like Adam was saying, with persistent damage, it could also be slowed or sickened depending on how powerful we go with minions. But even just slowing a mech down, like filling it with malware so it can't respond quickly enough from the pilot, and now it's at like half speed. That could
Now,
be
Go ahead.
devastating.
so that would be maybe. What do you think? A centipede mech, a centipede, or a scorpion?
Ooh.
I want a scorpion somewhere, but I'm not sure what I want it to be. I just love the idea of a scorpion mech. Just sounds... I love that idea. I don't know
I
why,
like that too, because it kind of matches what we're doing. Again, the stinger idea of inserting the malware, and again, they have to physically attach to the diesel mechs to insert that malware, do something. You have to get in close. So if they can take them out from range, or even before they get in close, they can crush them, they're okay. But once they get hit with a stinger, bad stuff starts happening.
Ooh.
So
I
do
like
we
that.
want the scorpion to be like a mini boss type of thing then?
Ooh, that could be cool.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea.
Maybe only
So
like
we have the
2 or 3 of them.
dragonflies. Yeah. So we have the dragonfly as a side mech for it's mainly aimed at giving advantage to the others. It's a support mech.
Essentially, yeah.
Mhm.
So then we have a 4. Well,
Scorpius Mechimus is what Julian Adams said, actually.
Scorpius Mechimus.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I appreciate that. That's awesome.
That's pretty good.
So I'm going to edit these a little bit Adam, because
Okay.
you have them as full character sheets, which is fine. But I think I'm gonna well, if we're gonna leave the Scorpion as a boss one, maybe we'll leave that as a full character sheet. That way we can play around a little bit more. But I think the Scout Scarab I'm gonna change to an NPC if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I just don't know how to do that.
You're good. Well, next time when you click the little plus dude, underneath type, there's an option that says character or NPC. Just select the NPC. Not a big deal at all.
So the only problem with
Gotcha.
OBS is it doesn't capture the menus, the pop-down menus.
Oh.
But right
okay.
here, everybody, where I'm looking, when I click, I can see character or NPC, and I can switch it.
That's good to know. I appreciate.
It's kind
you
of
letting me
funny
know.
because they see the mouse floating there, clicking nothing.
That's funny. Interesting. I wonder why it doesn't capture drop down. Well, we can get into that later. So if it's a mini boss, is it gonna have a boss edge? Is this like something we're going like full?
That's an interesting question.
Adam, what are you editing right now? Because I don't want to mess you up by oh, okay, you're editing.
Just the
that one.
name.
Okay. I don't want to be delete. Awesome.
So this is a full-on mech, and this is going to be designed for how many players?
I was picturing 4 because that's like your
4.
typical go-to. But I mean, you could say 3 to 5.
Right, 3 to 5, yeah.
So this would need to be level 2 then, for facing down some level 1s at least.
Okay.
At least I would think so.
Depends on how many you could send. An equivalent, like what you could write to the GM is, at some point, maybe there's a lull between dragonflies and beetles, where you have these Scorpius Mechimus hunt them down, and then you have, X amount of players.
Scorpius Mechimus is like the killbot that the mothership is sending out.
That's what I was kind of picturing, where but it also has the ability to just take over too.
To spread the malware. Okay, so it's what's spreading the things.
To the bigger stuff. I mean, honestly, you could almost do like when you're in the human size, you see the robotic Scorpius Mechimus walking around, but it is small versions. So they're not really mechs, but pretty much mini versions.
Yeah. I lean against giving it a boss edge because I'll stay with the base assumption of the 2-hour one-shot. I want to save boss edge for the boss. But making this a higher level, more feats, more abilities. Maybe it also gets advantage from the Mind Dredge as well, if any dragonflies have Mind Dredged.
That's true. Because maybe that information has been relayed.
It's going to end up being a full level 2 character build.
Okay. So you're only going to send 1 at the players or 2?
Of the Scorpius Mechimus?
Yeah.
Mechimus? I figured that'd be like they fight through some dragonflies and they're like, oh, these aren't too bad. We're getting them, And then all of a sudden comes out Scorpius Mechimus. Scorpius Mechimus.
Dan, he's working on the full character sheet. The one that's... Oh, you got
I
it.
just
Cool.
pulled it up.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
5, 4, 3,
Thank you.
2, 2.
So, I mean, Adam, I think you're doing a great job. If you want to continue statting this out, and then brainstorming with us while you do it.
Okie dokie. Well, I'm getting the standard. I figured we just use the standard array with it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, is it?
I think that sounds right. I'll double check.
So we don't want it to be... It's not the most agile, so we'll give it a 3.
Julian
5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 2.
Julian, our dear supporter, who we appreciate very much, and I look forward to doing more games with him. What if the Stinger attack is twofold? Malware that does persistent damage, or Mind Dredge for the mothership?
Okay.
I mean, it could do both for sure. I mean, that's...
Does Entropy have access to Mind Dredge and persistent damage?
Not Mind Dredge, but it does have persistent damage.
Yep.
So it would need either prescience or influence. It might be fun to give it influence instead. 5, 4, 3, and then some 2s, which will probably go into physical stats. 2.
Right, because I could picture having a little bit of might.
2.
Its claws crushing things that are in its way, or like being able to pick up something and like move it. You know, like say a building gets crushed and the rubble comes across, it can clear it out of its way.
Right.
So some might make sense to me. And definitely some fortitude if it's based off of a scorpion.
Yep.
Right. So we've got 2 and 2 there. We can switch around the agility and the fortitude if we need to. To give it more toughness and then add in armor instead.
You know, I actually like that. I think we should switch those.
I do too. I like that a lot. Because that also means it can have heavy armor at 3 fortitude.
2. Yeah. And so we'll give it heavy armor in a minute. Or do we just add that? No, we got to give it an item.
Oh, gotcha.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do. I can grab an item if you want.
Okay.
I can drop that in for you.
So we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. That means we need to get the. Let me see. Its entropy is 5, so it's probably not going to have much trouble doing the persistent damage with the malware. So then, do we want to focus in on the mind dredge, or do we want to focus in on a different bane that it would do, like a slow or something?
I like the idea that
persistent damage. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the idea that it has a bane focus in something else, but it is still able to do the mind dredge if it desires. Since we kind of have the mind dredge being mainly the dragonflies. We have one more 2 we can spend too. I figure probably in presence or will, just to up its HP.
Hit points. Probably. Will would give it resistance to. That would increase its resolve, which would give it a little bit better counter hacking defenses.
Yep.
So that probably works better.
Yep, that sounds good.
12's not much, even at facing level 1 characters, but
right, I know
it's there.
But it does also up the toughness as well, which I like.
What armor were you picturing on the Scorpius? +2, +4?
Mini boss. So right now its guard is 14. The average roll is 11, and then you add in your dice, which would be 2d6 at level 1
max, right?
Usually max. So if they're using their best attribute, they're rolling about a 6 to add to that. So they're hitting it pretty easy right now.
So probably at least +4, because they'd be rolling on average somewhere between 17 and 18. Armor.
So what's cool about in Foundry, I actually have to build the item to give to the machine, which actually works out well if you're doing this long term or want to like flavor it, where they spend a couple minutes hiding their mechs inside a parking garage or something, and you're taking some of the armor off the Scorpius Mechimus to put heavy armor on your mech. So it's something to kind of think about as I'm putting this together, because a defense, not 40, is it 4?
40. They ain't hitting that well. Austin might hit it.
Austin might hit it.
Austin would probably hit it, yeah.
Julian knows.
Yeah. He has to deal with him, right? I'm sorry, defense. It would be defense bonus 3. Sorry, the highest is 3.
For 3, yeah.
All right.
I mean, does it let us do? I mean, we're the LMs. We can do whatever we want.
We can make whatever we want, but then remember, this could potentially be something the player wants to add. So
yeah.
Yes. No, for sure.
Yeah, but see, it's so cumbersome and stuff like that they have to use it like a shield, so they take slowed 1. I'm just saying.
There's a speed. I mean, the plate mail heavy armor adds 3 defense, but it does add a speed penalty. So I actually want to leave that in there. Now I'm changing the speed penalty from 5 foot to 25 foot because we're dealing with Mechs, but it still represents the 1 square penalty.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Right.
That's perfect.
And it makes sense that this being a larger one would move a little bit slower, even perhaps slower than the PC's mechs.
So if you look now, its guard, it has the armor, and its guard went up to 17. And so its speed is going to technically go down to 125.
Right.
Correct. So those are the edits I added.
Right.
Now, do we want to add some feats, some perks? I'm currently, while you guys play around with this, I'm currently adding descriptions to the dragonfly, so you guys can work on that. Because I'm thinking.
Thank you.
Well, it would be interesting to give it some perks. Let me see. What does Brute do again?
That allows you to use
might
your strength.
For persuasion
yeah,
roll?
might for persuasion.
Would the mother brain speak through this?
I suppose if it's a hive mind, it could.
Yeah, it could speak through anything, I guess.
I kind of like.
Right,
I think
any of
it
the creatures
has.
in the game.
I think there's a. No, I think it's a feat. There's something similar to the orc. 𝙈𝙗𝙪𝙡𝙗.
Oh,
But I think that's
divine
a feat.
agent.
Ah, there you go.
Divine agent. Once per game session, you are subject to a finishing blow when you are hit with below 1 or below. You can automatically stay at 1. That's the half orc.
Yeah.
I would say
It's
for
a
those.
divine agent of its
I like
of
that
the
a
hive
lot.
mind.
Yeah. You'd probably want to throw out when they first bring it down to 0 that, hey, this is something more than what you've been facing. This is now effectively at a finishing blow. It's not dead yet. Just because in Open Legend, finishing blow is a unique aspect that's saved for special things. So just for those running games.
Yeah, and you can do that in universe by saying this thing's still moving. Even if it hits 0, you can make like it's still doing its death flails. It's tearing up the city. You've got to do something.
Just like a bug.
Yeah. And that way it'll get a death flail attack at them or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We can be nasty and give it lucky, but I don't think that's fair.
I was half thinking about it.
So, giving it observant might be fun because it can automatically succeed at a scan, basically.
Right.
So it's using a scan maybe by coordinating with the other dragonflies in the area.
Right.
Coordinates to automatically get a perception success.
I like that a lot. Yeah, I think that's perfect. What was I going to do? I was going to look at what Julian was saying with the...
Yep. Julian was saying
alteration.
Instead of mind dredge, you could use memory alteration with influence to do something similar.
I wanted to confirm if you have access at 4 for that.
I do like the idea of observant peak or perk. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, so for memory alteration, you need influence at a 5 to get access to that.
Bloodlust makes sense.
Julian's got it.
Oh, you're looking at the flaws? Yeah, bloodlust.
Yeah.
This is fun. And now this is something I'm sure lots of people have done. Speaking of flaws, but Zek was my first LM to do this for, and I really liked it. Is with certain bosses and stuff, he gave them legend points, and like they had perks and flaws where they could dive into their flaw and get a legend point to spend on something. So I thought that was really cool. If you're running this game and you want to try that out.
I mean, shout out to Savage Worlds. The GM gets bennies or their relative equivalent to legend points. But if you make a wild card character, which essentially that's what this character is, they get their own benny or legend point in this case. So it creates that fun story element where it's like you see them pulling out, they're grinding their gears. You see, for me, I'm picturing like smoke coming out of it, but it's not. It would be, you hear the wiring gripping tighter, and it's going to spend a legend point to increase its attack or whatever it may be,
Mm-hmm. Or it could be a great thing where it uses observant, catches the PC sneaking, but activates its bloodlust flaw where it's like, I see you're sneaking. I'm still going to pick someone and attack them. So now it has a legend point to spend on that attack.
That's true.
But with
Jillian
Observant, it's
said you
even
need a
able to do that.
5.
Right.
Yeah,
for,
we hit that. Yeah.
Memory alteration.
For the dragonflies.
All
right, so
or anyone. Yeah.
So I was thinking about giving it overweight. Maybe it's not very good at climbing up the sides of the buildings or something like that.
Interesting.
That's fun.
Which is funny because I was thinking about giving the climbing feat because it's a scorpion and they have the ability to climb.
Well, here's the thing. With a flaw, it's a once per use technically, so it's just a tool for the Legend Master to use. So actually having both, I'm not opposed to that at all. Like,
That's
it can
true.
climb. It would be a moment where it's like its armor is so heavy, you're deciding to put it at a disadvantage, but it's going to get a legend point that it can spend now on an attack.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So this is the beauty of Open
There we
Legend.
It is the beauty of Open Legend.
I like the idea. There's
'Cause
just, it's good, but there's some situations where that weight of the armor is just too much.
I love it.
All right. There. So he was meaning influence here for memory alteration. Disadvantage flavor is a flaw. That is true.
Why can't
Disadvantage
this?
is flavored as a flaw in the environment and not in Scorpius's strength.
Yeah,
That could be an option.
that's a great point. Hence overweight.
Why-
Yeah. Thank you, Julie. That's
Why
the
am I
thing.
so-
Are you okay?
No, I'm having a time spelling scorpion.
Oh. And I had the music.
It's pretty
went
close to Scorpius. But
I was
an
using
O instead of US.
Yeah, I was using a A instead of an O.
on.
Scorpion.
Scorpius. It's a scorpion.
That's a
It's a
scorpion.
I was gonna say about Open Legend. The cool thing, Julian makes a really good point in the chat that really think this is the thing I always talk about with everyone in Open Legend is look at the mechanics, remove the words, don't let the words influence you,
Yeah.
you know, because that's such a great point that overweight doesn't have to mean that it's heavy. It could be just the situation, the environment it's in that's looking way outside the box, which is something I love about Open Legend.
Because I love the idea as an LM to, say this Scorpius is just wrecking your players. Well,
Right.
now he's climbing across the building, coming to your next player, but his foot just slams through a window because he's not used to it. And now he's
Wow.
like, that gives a moment of like a story moment. Yes, it gives him the legend point, but now he's stuck moving or whatever it may be, or he begins to fall because it's a misstep or,
Right.
Failure, but the story progresses.
Yep. And that's one reason I love Open
It makes a
Legend.
beautiful scene too. That idea of bugs when a giant bug that's rushing and is still moving forward, but like rolling on itself and trying to keep
Ooh.
going.
Yeah.
That's a great visual.
I'm going to have to put some warnings in this for phobias.
Yeah. All right. That's very cool.
So, for attacks, because I think this is going to be the last thing we do before we wrap up. We got a lot
Mhm.
here to work with. Thank you, chat, and Adam and Dan. The last thing I want to do is
Thank
I
you.
wouldn't mind doing the actions a little bit. We have
Sure.
what Banes were you guys picturing?
Let's see, with climbing, I'm very much, I like slowed. Flavored as malware. Because if it does have a climbing speed outside of the overweight flaw thing, it can climb vertical and horizontal spaces at the same speed as it normally can. So if it's able to be slowing down the diesel mechs with malware and then going full speed up and away, that would be cool. Now, it would be a little mean, but we could add evasive footwork on top of that.
So we got climbing, Bane focus, and Bane focus will go on slowed then?
Yeah. I mean, of course, shout out if you guys don't really like it, but I like that idea. Because I think about mechs and gaming kind of feel of really needing that strategy of movement and trying to incorporate that into the battle.
So we would call that alien bloatware on the malware thing? Alien
Yes.
bloatware.
Bloat is gross and good. I like it.
Yeah, it fits. It bugs.
Now, are they able to use the range, or does it got to be melee only? I mean, I like the idea of actually from their
From the
tail
stinger.
spike, they launch like a wire essentially.
Oh,
I
you're
mean, you
shooting
could
something.
flavor
Okay.
it that way. Where
You
a
could do it.
stinger- Go ahead.
If you remember my doodle, they have a particle beam on the front of the Scarab mech, which means their tail also have that like a long distance particle beam. That would be harder though to do with the mechs that are diesel punk.
Right.
So
Right.
you may have to do the harpoon thing. Harpoon hack from Cowboy Bebop.
Right.
Oh, boy. Or we make it melee range and give them an advantage in the sense of like they can't do the range, but they have advantage because I don't know.
Yep. I
Because
like.
you're putting a limitation on it.
Right. Okay, so I have two ideas I'll throw out to you guys, see what you think. One is, because I like the idea, again, because we're an old from legend of the self-limitations, but I like the idea of either it's limited to a melee attack, so they have advantage on the attack, and if they strike, they're able to gain the stinger
Give the
reach.
stinger reach.
I think that's a very fair point.
I mean, we limited the snot out of the dragonfly, in my opinion.
No, I think that's I really like that. Then I'll throw out my second idea. Then if we give it like a spear level reach, it's still melee. It still has to melee strike, but it can reach out and attack. I think that's very fair. What would that be?
You could do 2 squares away, basically.
Yeah.
That's
I like
if
it a
it
lot.
is the same size as the other mechs. Now that's something we can consider.
Fair enough.
A 25? Is it a single square or is it a large creature? Because
It's funny, I was picturing it's a single square, but maybe it's a larger creature.
Large in the category of the mechs. So
Right.
it's the size of 2 mechs, basically. And that way it gets that
I
reach
like that.
automatically.
Because I think
And then if you give it actual reach on that, then you've got a nice little range on there with that stinger.
I like that. Because, yeah, what are you talking about then? 20 feet total, right? If it's a 2 square cube. 2 square cube.
Yep.
With a 10-foot reach, with a 2 square reach on top of that.
Yep.
That's
So
pretty,
if you go
that's
to the-
pretty badass.
If you go to the map, I put one down. Now, it doesn't have artwork yet, so hopefully we'll be getting to that. But I made it where it's a 2x1. Now I can make it a 2x2. So technically that's taking up 2 squares.
I like 2 squares.
I kind of like the 2x1 aspect. Yeah.
I've never built anything that's 2x1, so it's kind of fun for me to... So if you click on it, Dan, you did, okay.
Yep.
You'll see that it only takes
That
up...
actually makes the range interesting, too, because you can play around with it.
You can almost say frontal range has more. Yeah. Huh.
So you'll have its attack, its threat range is more interesting that way.
Right. That's really cool. I love that.
So would that make it a 4 square reach, technically, in front, from frontal?
That's what I was thinking.
Right, and then it'll only be 2 at the side, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So 4 at the front, 4 at the back, and then 2 on each side. That way, some of your more vulnerable mechs can still stay at the side and do something without being within the threat range if they have a ranged thing themselves.
I think that adds to that wargaming feel too, of location matters very much.
Julian said it feels more like a mini boss, and I agree with you. And it has more of a chip. Now it's got a smidgen of a puzzle feel to it too, because
Right.
if it's coming right at you, it has a much greater range. And then your mechs are going to want to try to step to the side. You want to try to put your heavier mech in front of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, that's
So
cool.
we
So
have.
we would give it.
Oh, go ahead.
Are we giving the stinger long shot then? Are we doing the long shot feat with the stinger, or are we doing just reach like an item for the stinger?
I mean, I have it wrote in the notes that it's the alien bloatware slowed from the claw is front and back attack is 4 squares, 2 squares reach on the sides. I mean, it could just be limited
Yeah.
that way.
I like the reach item idea because that way it is technically melee.
Okay. So I'll have to build an item that would be its tail, which is kind of cool. So once they defeat it, they could technically use its tail as a weapon. I mean,
that's cool.
That's kind of an interesting thought pattern.
That feeds
Once
into
they rewrote the
mech.
code in a isolated, once they rewrote the or at least sterilized the control codes in a separate computer, they scrap that computer and then attach it to their mech, and they got this diesel punk mech with this alien stinger tail on it.
That's awesome. Yeah, so if we're going more for a mini boss too, we probably want to just give it attack specialization entropy. And or deadly 1 on the stinger.
As for the so if I'm building the item, I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you're building the item, I guess that means the players could get access to, maybe they lose deadly with the lack of access to the mother brain, but just I'm thinking if we're only bringing 1 out, level 2 character with some minions, possibly just looking at balance, I feel like it should have advantage on its attacks. I don't know. Yeah, I lean towards attack specialization entropy 5 on the entropy. Just attack specialization for the stinger. And there's just this one big one. Rather than, I don't know, but throw out if you think maybe 2 of them would be more interesting.
Do we need Bane focus then? Or would we switch it just to attack specialization?
I still like Bane focus because that only applies if they're trying to inflict the Bane, whereas attack specialization gives them advantage on damaging attacks. But that's only if we're thinking just 1 comes with some dragonflies. I guess it would be either doing something like that or we have more than 1. Like 2, probably 2. Coming.
Gotcha.
I don't know, that's just my thought for like trying to balance it. Oh, good night, Julian. Sorry, I just saw your text. Thanks for hanging out, bud.
Good night, buddy. Thank you for all your input. Yeah, so let's see. I'm trying to build the stinger. Oh, they don't actually do a very good. Interesting. Okay. What are some property? Are we making it like a spear? Like, do I do spear properties? Is that?
I figured that was a template to start with.
Yeah,
because it's basically a spear, and then you have you're attaching this alien bloatware to that through the flavor of the entropy. So that way you can still do physical attacks with the spear tail thing.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that idea too. That the players are they lodge it right into the mothership.
Oh, that'd be epic. Yeah.
Just kind of like the imagery of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think we're at a really good point. This gives me 2 weeks to work with all that we've talked about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Add more details. The 3 of us can kind of bounce some ideas off within the chat. And I'm excited to see this come true.
Me too. It's going to be really cool. Of course, all our plans will fall apart in game and it'll be glorious.
Well, that's later. That's just playing.
That's just playing.
But so I look forward. Cool. What I'm saying is, anybody who watches this by the end of this month, our goal is to have this module out. I will do my best to share it on Open Legend Discord and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I thank you so much for your guys' input on this. I look forward to what we finish, the finished product that we create together.
Yeah, for sure. There was something else I was going to say. I can't think of it.
Oh, I stole it. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Of course, check us out when we play this at the end of the month. You can also play with us potentially if you become a part of the ever-growing forest known as Avenue Studios. Oh, that's what I was going to ask, Jake. Is there anything else you want to shout out Foundry-wise that people should know? We kind of built NPC. We actually got to see a character sheet.
The only
Kristen
thing
says show the dice. I will in a second, my love. Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
No, you're good. So something I wanted to build for this module. So Dan, go ahead and look at let me ping a building here. This one right here.
Okay.
Something that I want to be able to give the GMs is something like this. Let me pick the right one.
Oh, yes. I know what you're going to do. I'm excited.
Do you? So this is playing around a little bit, but boom, you're able to change this for your players to rubbleize. I like that word. Rubbleize a building. You know, I have a bunch of different ones I'm creating. So this is part of this situation is buildings can be destroyed by you guys or even by the bug creatures. So it's something else that I want to be able to have in here for the GM to just add to the immersion, along with adding some sounds and stuff like that. So the rubbleize. So yeah, that was the biggest thing really I wanted to show. And for the GM, that's just going to be a tile that you drop where you need to drop it. There'll be a handful of them to pick from that work best for you. So you just drop it on the building that's being destroyed, and boom, it's rubbleized.
Beautiful. I'll double click the notes again, just like Jake had. Look at what we got so far. Cadia, the Cyber Utopia, Farnsworth University, Massive Beetle Mothership, Spring Hill Medical Center, and Asteroid Sports Centers. Go Roids. Oh, that's good. All right, I'm really excited to see this play out.
Cyber future, body alteration is normal.
Yeah,
so...
right.
It feels normal now.
Old school is that you're just roided up. That's it.
Yeah.
You're just taking one regiment. The other players look like the guy off of, what was it, Double Dragon? That cheesy movie, the big guy with the mohawk, so huge.
If you
haven't seen it, go look it up. That's what the new guys. That's what the new players. Yeah.
Oh, I think final thing before we do outro, we were talking about for this game, mechs are going to be the player character sheets. And then they all get a free companion feat. Tier 1, are we thinking? Companion tier 1?
Yep, tier 1, yep.
In Open Legends, so the pilots will be the companion stats, which is another aspect of making you as a human feel so tiny without your mech. If the pilot's out of the mech, not only are you only moving one square at a time, but your companion tier 1 level stats.
Which on that note, I was...
Oh. Carry on.
Who has a thought?
Everybody.
Yeah. No, on that note, because earlier we were talking about the attacks being like a area effect.
Right.
You could have your player rolling a save, essentially, to take less damage as a defense action. It was something that I was thinking about earlier. Because they're going to be trying to scramble out of the way, and that mech, could be trying to step on them or crush them or whatever it may be, and that of course they have that chance. So,
right.
Sorry, that was it.
No, you're good.
Also, I'm not sure if we were going to implement it in this, but we talked about adding a quality in the notes or something like that says anti-personnel weapon or something along that idea, because of I think that the dragonflies could probably be fine. They're probably the size of a medium creature,
right?
If they took over a drone, so that's fine. They could, like, your human characters could shoot one of those, but if they try to shoot this big To them, it would actually be, let me see, 50 feet is almost, that's a huge creature in most systems, I think.
Right.
Huge, if not gargantuan. I don't know that it's gargantuan yet, but it's like huge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's and with all that armor, it makes sense that it would have to be attacked with an anti-personnel weapon with a from a human perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the mech weapons count as anti-personnel, I would think.
Yes.
That was why I was thinking as something that was the
Artillery,
we could give
that's what it
each
is.
character a pistol, each actual player, a pistol that we make that has some kind of like armor piercing. This has the potential of damaging the larger creatures or mechs or something like that. So
Yep.
Or
But
an
basically-
EMP gun.
Oh,
because
you're right.
Advanced tech.
With the
That's true.
advanced. Right.
that's true. Laser pistol even would actually technically work, right?
That's a cool
You
idea,
said
though.
laser could pierce it.
Yeah, that the weapons have to have a tag on them, or else you can't even roll. It's immune. They're effectively immune.
Yeah, like small arms fire does nothing.
Right.
I don't think a 22 is going to do anything to...
That's great. Okay.
The mother brain may adopt you as this little cute thing that tried to hurt it. It was so adorable.
There's an arm in the back of its neck.
Yes.
Just control it.
Just pinches your cheek. Oh, you're so good.
You're so cute. All right. That's great. Well, thank you all so much for joining another fantastic Forge with Avenue Studios. Let's start with Adam from the Interplanar Crossroads. Thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find and support you?
Well, they can find and support me about the same places they can find and support you. Patreon, locals, even contacting directly. So, and that gives
Beautiful.
you access. Supporting either one of us gives you access to the respective Discord of that channel. So,
Yes, and let's hit the $100 goal for Interplanar Crossroads because I want to see that metal dice. We got to go over it. Let's do it. Join the
Gotta
travelers.
go over it.
I'm there. Jacob's there. Join us. Join us.
Join us.
And as for Avenue Studios, if you want to further support us and become a part of the ever-growing forest known as Avenue Studios, you can do so, as Adam said, by joining our locals or our Patreon community. Doing so not only gives you access to our private Discord, but we also have tons of bonus content, getting upwards of hours and hours of bonus content of goofiness, and you can chat with us in our Discord, play games, watch movies, and so much more, including getting in on these monthly collaboration games, because at the sapling tier and up, you can enter into the raffles to play in the live streams where we play test these modules that we're going to build. And every month for this year until March 2024, we're going to be doing different themes, where we talk about it on Around the Hearth, we build something in Forest Forge, and we play it on a live stream. So you can be a part of that and join us in that if you join our forest. And don't forget to check the links in our description below for Adam's channel, for sound, music, and ambience that we use, and of course for Foundry Virtual Tabletop and Open Legend RPG. Coupon code Bomb Squad to get 10% off on the Open Legend RPG store. And thank you all so much for joining this Forge, and we will see you next time. Bye.
The dice.
Oh, the dice. My wife will be mad. Never mind. Don't forget, we did, thanks to all of our supporters, we unlocked the bonus giveaway bundle, which will include this dice. I can't really see, but it's too far behind. I don't know. It's probably out of focus. But they are all plant themed with a green. It is metal dice with a plant-like theme. Here's the D4. That's pretty cool. They're gorgeous. So these, as well as back in there is a snap foldable tray die.
It's
thing
awesome. I love
with
this
Avenue
thing.
Studios logo. Next
Yeah, it
stream.
is just like-
Oh yes, Jake's
I
got one.
love this thing. Love
It
it.
came out so good. So it'll come with a dice with that, a DVD that has a bunch of movies I made in college on it, as well as a dice mat that will be coming
getting-
shortly. We are getting a new dice mat layout that I think I can't wait to see it. It'll look pretty good. And of course, we'll have fun watching movies, watching my senior thesis on April 1st. So if you want to get in on that, yeah, no joke, no joke. April 1st, we'll be doing it. Join the ever-growing forest. Join the travelers of the multiverse with Interplanar Crossroads. And thank you all again so much for joining this forge. Love you all. We will see you next time.
Good night, y'all.
All right, bye.